In this video, we're going to tackle an exercise where we are going to draw two circles in a pane, and we are going to detect if they intersect. But we are going to also have a few text fields that allow us to enter the coordinate of the center of all those circles and their radius, and then redraw the circle accordingly. And we are going to also allow the user to drag and drop both of the circles anywhere in the pane, so that we automatically redetect, if they are intersecting now or not, and we update also the coordinate of their centers accordingly. So the end result is going to look something like this. Okay, you can see here that we are going to have like two column, two very similar panes here, where we are going to display the information for circle 1, information for circle 2. Okay, so you can see the labels here that we're going to use, the text fields. You can guess these are going to be text fields. We're going to have a label at the top that tells us whether the two circles intersect. We're going to hopefully have the two circles drawn here in the pane and movable by drag and drop, and we have this button here to redraw the circle every time we actually change here, for example, the coordinate or radius information in those text boxes. Okay, so there's quite a lot already to do in terms of setting up the scene, okay, of our application, defining all of those things, centering them correctly, setting the borders here. So we are going to start, as we usually do in those kind of exercise, we're going to start with that aspect of things. Okay, so let's see. We are going to we're going to first start with the JavaFX template, okay, and we are going to rename this appropriately. So I'm going to name it, for example, ShapesIntersect, okay. And you will see that there's a version of this exercise actually that uses rectangle that is part of your work. So save as ShapesIntersect. So we can modify that, obviously. And now let's start with the carnival of different panes and so on. So first I'm going to do, as I did in the previous exercise, I'm going to do some definitions here of fields for the entire class. Okay, so I initialize them right here, just because we have a very small program, but otherwise, I mean, doing this in the constructor would be probably better. So I'm putting the dimension of my overall pane, okay, and then there are a few things here that I can put right at this level. So the status bar that we're going to have at the very top, intersect. So that's the text that we were asked to put in there. Okay, so by default we're going to say that the two circles do not intersect, because we're going to create two circles that are not going to intersect. So that's a good reason for that. Okay, so circle 1 equal new circle 50 50 50, and then I'm going to create another circle here that does not intersect with the previous one. So I'm going to keep the same radius, put them on the same y coordinate, the same line, horizontal line, and I'm going to push it to 160 so that there is 10 pixels between the two circles. Okay, so let's get rid of the obvious, which is going to be a few import statements that are missing here. So right now I didn't touch the panes and stuff like that. Okay, I didn't do anything like this. So I have a shape that I need, JavaFX dot scene dot shape dot circle. Okay, I'm going to very soon start actually filling the colors for those circles. So I'm going to anticipate my needs here and then say that I want paint.color also. Let's see. Well, I could keep anticipating needs, but really there's no point at this point. I just need my label, I guess. So that's going to be a control. Import JavaFX scene.control.label. Okay, and that should be enough to get me to compile this, even though it doesn't do much. Okay, well, yes, cut and paste. This is bad cut and paste programming. Okay, you cut and paste, but you don't modify your variable. That's better. So, well, if I try to run this, it's not going to do anything, right? It's just empty window. I didn't add the circle to any of the get children collection. So it's not displaying anywhere right now, but I wanted to get that out of the way. So now what I can do, I can start defining all of the different panes that I'm going to need, okay? So let's start from the, well, it's kind of arbitrary. So let's start with our left pane that contains all of those text fields and labels for the first circle, okay? So we are going to say we need a border pane, pane 1. Okay, so the left one is going to be pane 1, border pane, and the right one is going to be obviously pane 2. So we are going to put a label pane 1 at the top. Okay, so I'm going to just create it on the fly, new label, enter, and circle 1 information. That will do just nicely. All right, and then I'm going to put below that that label, I'm going to put a grid pane that is going to contain my center X, center Y, and radius information. So let's go ahead and say I need a grid pane, pane 11, equal new grid pane, pane 11 set horizontal gap, so I'm going to space a little those things, okay, so they're not like super crowded, and then I keep configuring my pane. So I'm going to need a label. Let's say this is the center X coordinate. All right, and I'm going to put that label inside the green at inside the grid, sorry, at position 0, 0. And then I'm going to need 2 more labels, one for Y, the Y coordinate of the center, that's going to be right below it, and then a last one for the radius. So all of this is for circle 1. So as you can guess, once we are done doing all of this, we're going to do a giant cut and paste here to just put all of this also in the right pane, okay? So we have right now our 3 labels, okay? We are going to need 3 text fields, one for each of those labels. So text field center X for circle 1, okay, new text field, and I'm going to put here the value. I'm going to hard code it for now, the value that I use for circle 1, and then I'm going to need, similarly, I'm going to need a text field, and I can tell already there is a syntax error somewhere because the auto indent didn't collaborate, so I'll take care of that in a second. I'm going to say that I want a text field for how to say, the center Y of my circle 1, and then a text field for the radius. And all of those coordinates, all of those values are 50 for circle 1, so we are good. Let's add all of those things to center X1 to our grid pane, okay, 0. So we make sure that they are facing actually the label that they correspond to. So we are going to have the X at grid coordinate 1, 0, the Y at grid coordinate 1, 1, and we're going to have the text field that correspond to the radius, there we go, at coordinate 1, 2. There we go. Okay, so now we have like the grid pane that is actually correctly set up. I'm going to finish up this entire pane, then we're going to get rid of the typo and syntax errors, okay? So the only thing I have left to do really are little things like tf center x1 dot set alignment, okay? And I'm going to use post, so I'll have to add this one as well to my imports, and I'm going to cut and paste because it's going to be the same here. So I want to do x1, then center y1, same alignment, and then the text field for the radius. So all of this for my circle 1. Okay, so I should have called radius actually radius 1. I didn't pay attention here, but I'm going to have to differentiate it from the radius for the other circle, obviously. So, okay, so I have my free labels, I have my free text. I put the labels actually in the grid pane. I put the text fields in the grid pane. I set the alignment of my text field. Very good. All I'm going to be left with is doing some styling on my pane. So I'm going to use border color. So set fx border color, and then I'm going to specify I want black, and then I'm going to say that this pane 1 is going to receive in the middle pane 1. Okay, so pane 1 is my border pane, and pane 1 is my grid pane that has all of those text fields and labels. So I put the grid pane inside the border pane. Okay, and now this is where I would start defining, you know, border pane 2. So this is B pane 1 left. Okay, and I'm going to have to do the same job for the border pane 2, which is going to be the right border pane. But before we get there, let's actually compile. So apparently there are not too many typos here. Information, what did I do? Unexpected parentheses. Oh, yeah, okay. There we go. I am missing here one parenthesis. More errors that were unlocked by this. Of course, border pane unknown. What else is unknown? Grid pane, of course. Text field is going to be a problem. Anything else? Pos. Okay. All right. So I have an idea of what I need here. So let's go back to our import section, and I'm going to import here javafx.geometry.pos. Okay, get rid of that one, and then we had some things missing here for the layout. So I need a border pane and I need a grid pane. Okay, let's compile. See what else is missing. The text fields. Okay, no problem. The text fields are going to be controls. So inside scene, there we go. I have already my label here. I'm going to just add a text field. Text field. What else? Compile, and that's it. So let's try to, well, again, I just automatically ran it, but I haven't actually added that pane anywhere, so it's not going to show up yet. Okay, plus I didn't even use my my width and length, you know, to set up actually the coordinate of the overall pane. So pretty much nothing should show and nothing shows, so that's okay, but we need to fix that. What I'm going to do real quick, and I'm going to pause the video for that because really that's not really an exciting part. I'm going to just do the same thing I did here. So for B pane left, I'm going to do the same thing for B pane 2, which is going to be the right one. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So I just compiled to make sure that I didn't introduce typos and stuff like that. So we have now two sections. I'm going to space this out here so that it's clear. We have a B pane 1 for the left side. We have a B pane 2 for the right side. Okay, and it does exactly the same thing, except that, okay, the value here is different. Okay, but over than that, it's exactly the same thing. So there was no point really in going into detail during this videos. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare edge box. There we go. And inside this edge box, which I'm going to align in a centered manner using pos. Okay, inside this edge box, I'm going to add as children my pane 1 and pane 2. So border pane 1 and border pane 2. Okay. After that, I'm going to need another border pane, which I'm going to simply call pane, so I can reuse here what I have already in my default template instead of reinventing it. There we go, border pane equal new border pane. What I want to do with this border pane, I want to set the status, a label on top of it. So I'm going to do set top and set the status label. So the status label is what we have defined all the way up here. So our programs are starting to get a little long, okay? But hopefully you're following along, so you have the code also that you are editing in your IDE. So I want to set at the top of this border pane my status bar. I'm going to then do this alignment here, set alignment status pos.center. Okay, so I want this to be centered at the top. Then I'm going to use yet another pane. So I'm going to call it the draw pane. Okay, this is where I'm going to actually draw my circles. So this is going to be a traditional pane. Okay, and then I'm going to use this object circle1 that is a field right in my class. So again, go back at the top of the code. Okay, circle1 set field, and I'm going to say, all right, I want to fill it with a color that is 1110. Why not? Okay, so we're using things a little bit customized here. Circle1 set stroke color dot black. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for circle2, and so I'm going to just cut and paste. There we go, circle2. So the set field is the same, and the set stroke is the same as well. So then let's go to our draw pane. Let's get the children of our draw pane, and you guessed it, we are going to add circle1 and circle2 to the pane that is meant for us to draw the circles. Okay, and then we're going to align draw pane. Okay, so we're going to make sure that it is showing centered inside our main pane, okay, which is the border pane that we just defined here. Okay, all right, what else do we need? Let's see. Well, we need a button. If we take a look, yes, there we go. We need a button here as a total bottom of this pane here, to allow us to redraw when we change things. So we are going to take care of that next. So let's see, we are here, we have our draw pane. All right, let's see, button BT, let's call it BT redraw. Okay, new button. The message we need to put is redraw circles. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to have a container that is going to have this button and everything else. So let's create another border pane, and we're going to call it big pane, new border pane. All right, we are going to say we want to put at the center of this our pane, okay, that contains the circles. And then we're going to put our button, and then we're going to create, our button, and then we are going to say bigPane.setBottom. Put the button at the bottom of that big pane. Okay. Set some alignment. BT redraw. Pos.center. Okay, so the button is going to be also centered. And now we're to the point where we can create our scene. So we want the big pane here. Yes, and we want to use pane.weave and pane height that we define as attribute of this class. Okay. All right, we should have something now that we can actually show as soon as I'm done fixing a few things apparently. So a layout is missing. Fair enough. Let's go. All right. So we need our H box here. Let's try again. button, we need control. So that's an interesting bug here in the IDE. Let me see if I can force a redraw of this. Yeah, there we go. So I need a control here that is going to be, what was it already? Button, yeah. What is next? Compile. But I cannot find symbols. Circle free. Oh yeah, that's interesting actually. That was a typo here. I must have automatically incremented the counter. And there we go. We are done with like minor typos. Let's see what we have here. Well, we have almost everything except we're missing here our grid with all the buttons and stuff like that. Okay, so that's still problematic. We're going to hunt this down and find it and add it. So we are missing something here about. We are missing something about pane 1 and pane 2. Let's see. So pane 1 and pane 2 are put inside this hbox. And then we don't do anything really with the hbox anymore. So here we need to add our hbox. Okay, let's see if that was enough to fix that bug. Compile, run. That's a lot better. Still a little bit of snafu here in the size. We're going to look into that as well. But at least we have actually the right information here. We have our grid. All of those text fields are editable, and we don't have any event handler here, so we cannot do anything with redrawing the circle or drag and dropping the circle. But that's okay. We haven't implemented that yet. So all we need to do right now is check into this size discrepancy that we have here. Let's take a look again. So let's scroll back up. Let's scroll back up here. So we are doing something on our pane 2 here that I obviously forgot to do in pane 1. Let's see. Okay, I think this is the preferred. That would explain the difference in width here. I didn't say the preferred column count for my text fields in the first one. So there we go. Let's do that here. Radius, save, let's compile. Let's see if that's enough to fix that problem. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now we have the same width here for each of the text fields, so everything aligns correctly. Okay, so we are done with what I would call the static part of setting up this JavaFX application. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to actually handle this button. Okay, we want to handle the drag and drop. Sorry. So I think the easiest thing to do first is probably the button. So let's scroll down here after we show our scene, and we are going to deal with the bt redraw dot set on action statement that is going to allow us to set the event handler for that button. So again, we use a lambda expression, and I don't know why I put R here. That's generally E. So what we want to do here when we hit the redraw button, we want to go and read from all of those text fields, the text field for the center XY, center Y1, radius 1, radius 2, and so on and so forth. We want to read from those text fields. We want to convert those strings into double values, and we want to set the corresponding characteristic of circle 1 and circle 2. Okay, and then we are going to update pretty much our display. So we'll add a little method to do that. But for now, circle 1 dot set center x1, and I'm going to do double parse double. Okay, so I'm going to set to a value that I parse from tf center x1 dot get text. So I get the text from the text field containing center x1 information, convert it into a double value, set it to the center x1 property of circle 1. Okay, and the rest of it is going to be really similar. So I'm going to again do some frantic cut and paste. So instead of the coordinate x, now we take care of the coordinate y, and then once we're done with that, we are going to take care of the radius. And that's just sent circle 1. Okay, so we are going to have to do the same thing for circle 2 right after. Okay, set radius 1. Okay, so set radius, set x, set y. I got carried away here. Radius 1. Yeah, we're good. So now we have circle 1 done. Let's compile to just make sure I'm not propagating with cut and paste some errors. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to do the same for circle 2. So that's going to turn into a 2, that's going to turn into a 2, and this is going to turn into a 2 as well. Compile. Okay, looks good. So once we are done with modifying the properties, right, we need to update our displays. So since we're going to do that a lot from different event handler, we're going to give ourselves an update status method. Right, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, okay, I want a private void update status method. So no need to make it public because it's going to be used internally in our class implementation only from our event handlers. Okay, and what do we want to do? What do we want to do in this method? Well, let's start by creating a new point 2D. So I'm going to add this to my import list. Okay, and this point 2D is going to have the coordinate of the center x for circle 1, and I'm going to go to the next line here to space things a little bit. I'm going to get center y coordinate. Okay, and then I'm going to call on that point 2D distance to circle 2 get center x, circle 2 get center y. So I'm taking the coordinate of the centers, right, for, let me re-indent this a bit so that it looks a little nicer. So I'm getting the coordinate here of, how to say, of my first circle center, okay? And I convert that into a point 2D object. Well, the idea is that if I do that, then I can use the distance method offered from the point 2D class, okay? And I ask what is the distance between this guy here, which is the center of circle 1, and those two coordinates which represent the center of circle 2. So I'm getting a distance between the two center of the two circle with this. So once I have this, then it's just a matter of testing if the distance is less or equal to circle 1 dot get radius, okay, plus circle 2 dot get radius. Then we have intersect. Okay, if we have intersect, we are going to change the text in our status label. Okay, so two circles intersect. I could have factored that, but let's go. Yes. All right, and I'm going to cut and paste that because this is going to be almost the same thing for the else branch. For the else branch, I'm going to simply say no. They do not intersect. Okay, let's try to indent the auto indentation. Okay, I thought there was some problem with the auto indentation due to a typo on my part. Apparently not. Let's compile. This is something. Oh, point 2D, of course. Point 2D is missing because this is actually a JavaFX geometry import. There we go. So there we go. Import javafx.geometry.point2D. That should work a lot better. Compile again. It's working. Just running to make sure everything is still running here. So okay. Our intent here is if we modify this, for example, okay, and we click on redraw circles, we are going to get a bigger circle. If we put a 0 here, redraw circle, We are moving the Y coordinate of the center to the top of the pane. Okay, so it looks like it's working. Okay, I'll let you do like more thorough test on your own version, but here we can actually update this information, redraw the circle accordingly. So the only feature we have left in this exercise is a drag and drop. All right, so the drag and drop is going to be implemented by the set on mouse dragged method called on the circle 1 and circle 2 objects. So it's relatively easy to have geometrical shapes that are drag and droppable, or at least draggable in an application. Okay, so let me show you how this is done. There we go. So on mouse dragged, I need an event handler. All right, what is my event handler going to say? It's going to first make sure that we are containing the pointer of the mouse. Okay, so inside circle 1. So whenever the mouse is dragged, I'm going to generate those events for both circle 1, circle 2. Okay, circle 1 and circle 2 are going to start by testing, okay, is the mouse being dragged inside of me with a click inside of me or not? If it is, set center X, we want to update the center X based on the position of the mouse. Okay, similarly, we want to update the center Y based on the Y coordinate of the mouse cursor. Okay, so that's easy. And then we are going to also update our text field. Okay, that's part of the deal. If I drag and drop, if I drag my circle around, I need to be able to say this is my new X coordinate. All right, and then similarly, this is my new Y coordinate. Get Y, and this is going to be TF center Y1. Okay, and then update status, since we have this very convenient method that allows us to update everything. Okay, we're going to keep using it. So that's our first event handler. Let's just try this one. Okay, and then we're going to have the same thing for circle 2. So circle 2 right now, if I try to drag, nothing happens. Okay, circle 1, there we go. I can drag the circle, it gets redrawn, and at the same time, the coordinate get updated there. Okay, and if I try to redraw, because the coordinates are in sync with what I dragged here, it doesn't change the display. So perfect. Now that we have this for circle 1, we should be able very easily to do the same thing for circle 2, right? So let's go. Let's reindent this mess. There we go. So cut and paste oriented programming again. Circle 2, circle 2, circle 2, center for 2, X and Y. And I think we are good here. All right, let's see. Let's run this. So let's make this bigger so we can move things around easily. So let's check that we didn't break anything for circle 1. What about circle 2? Circle 2 is moving as well. So we have, and of course we didn't check the intersect, but here we go. You can see that as soon as the circles overlap or touch even, we have intersect. So this is detecting nicely one way, detecting the other way, so no problem, it's working just fine. So this was the last feature we needed actually for this exercise, so we are done with this exercise now.